Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to the RGL.GG Week 1 Prolander matchup of Space Force versus Prevail. Somehow, I'm not dead. They keep trying to bury me, but I keep pulling myself back up, and we're here yet with another season. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the best season of Prolander yet. We have seen growth of over 50% inside of our league. Our 6-team invite season is just filled with incredible experience. Who's going to be on top? Will it be Froyotech? Will Cat Noises be able to come back? We will find out. And so you better keep up with us here tonight. It is Upward, and it's going to be a great time. I am Sikifu, joined out here with Flair to my side and Dolphin behind the scenes. How you doing out here, Flair?
I'm doing fantastic, Sikivu, and how about you? I heard you came back from the dead. How's that feel?
Well, I just believed in the one true God of fire, and some lady in a red cloak brought me back to life, and everything's been pretty good. It's like a good soap opera or something. I'm not exactly sure, but what I know I'm sure of is actually I don't know. I'm sure of what I'm going to be seeing. I was going to say we're going to see a great match, but I really don't know. These are two kind of untested teams coming in here. We have Space Force, who's definitely I think on the lower side inside of Invite. They're definitely a team that's going to be fighting for that third place spot, probably at best. Prevail on the other side is a team that is going to be one that is fighting their way to. I think they could definitely. I don't know if they're going to make a first place spot. But maybe if they play their cards right, but definitely I think they're going to be fighting for top 3. But that's what I am right now. I'm just looking forward to this. I mean, Flair, I've casted with you I think at least once before. Have you casted much Prolander before?
No, I'm going to say with Prolander, this is going to be my first time. I've done a lot of Highlander in the past, so we'll see how that transfers over. But there's certainly a lot of there's a lot of crossing ground over there. Most of the same maps are played between the two, and of course we see a lot of sniper action, which everyone knows is absolutely essential to that Highlander flavors. But we're gonna be seeing some of that non-alienation, get to see that pyro come out too, because we just love alienating everyone with our sixes classes. I've seen the light too. So it's been a a wonderful season.
I'm glad you see the light, and I'm looking forward to this. I mean, definitely some names on either side, more so on Prevail. I guess, looking over at the Prevail roster, Flair, who are some of the players that kind of jump out to you of players we should watch out for?
Sandblast, absolutely. Stellar player. Shay, bottom down, probably everyone's top one sniper, or at least up there, because Shay hits the nut shots. But Sandblast is just, no matter what he plays, he seems to know what he's doing. He seems to be able to fill in those roles, fill in those gaps, be able to clutch it for his team. And of course, Mad, otherwise known as Mad Ring Me, just popular pug player, popular just high level team player. Definitely quite a few stars coming out on the side of Prevail. So we can see a lot of big plays coming out from them. I'm not sure what to expect coordination wise, but we'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah, and over on the Space Force side, there's not as many big names, but all these are people that I have actually played with directly. Space Force is my team inside the Highlander season, as we are going live here with the first match of the Invite season. And it's going to be Space Force starting out on offense, Prevail starting out on defense. And Space Force, I mean, the ones you got to watch out for, Nixie is kind of a sniper who's really, really hit or miss. Since I've seen him have crazy great games, and I've seen him be completely marginalized. Michael on Spy, he could potentially do work, but it's really going to come down to, I think Silo Hunter, he's typically a medic main. Is he going to be able to translate over to demo? Kind of what are we going to be seeing here? But over on the defensive side, it looks like, what classes are we going to be seeing? So it looks like we're going to see a Scout, Pyro, Demo, Heavy, Engineer, Medic, and Sniper. So they're not running a Soldier, and they're not running a... I'm trying to figure this out really quickly. What are
no
they
spy.
No spy. So no, yeah,
defense.
which makes sense. I don't think spy is really that great on the first point. But no, Soldier's interesting because Soldiers are really powerful defensive class, especially when you need to back up to second. So I'm kind of surprised that they're not going to be running a Soldier here on defense. I think a Scout is not the greatest on the first point, but I guess we'll find out.
Absolutely, and as we're coming into this first offense, just Scout Fuzzy on the side of Space Force, just getting on that card. Seems like we're going to be seeing a lot of dead time, but you're right about that. Oh, Shay getting off that pick onto Tacos instantly, so it's just Shay's going to have this Cypher sight line opened up to him, so people hopefully pushing that card, they're going to have to get worried about those shots coming in. But you're absolutely right about that scout on defense being a questionable pick, mostly because Shay gets off another pick. I don't have time to get in any color commentary with Shay just ringing out these frags one by one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be slowing down this card, though. Fortunately for Space Force, the deaths are not that big of a deal, as they will have the quick respawns, and they haven't used their Uber yet. So right now, really, the thing for Space Force is they're about getting the cart close and then going for an Uber exchange. That's really what you want to do. Right now, Michael is going all the way back to spawn 4 of the defensive side. As Shay did go down, he lost the headshot. So the spy's going to take out the teleporter, so Shay's not going to be able to get back to the front line easily. And he can actually camp Shay at spawn if he wanted to. And so that's going to give a lot of room here to Space Force to walk forward, knowing that Shay's not going to be able to kill them. And we should be seeing the Uber exchange here pretty shortly.
Nick coming right in on that Uber. They are milking this a little bit. Oh, Uber finally comes out. These exchanges coming in. TK off on the side, trying to air blast people back. And blue team just taking as much space as possible. Space Force looking to get this push off successfully, and Prevail just pulling right out as soon as they can, not wanting to hold on to that first point too long. So definitely really clean first push, if a little delayed from Shay, but very nicely executed from Space Force.
And I think this is going to be the game plan for Space Force all game, is it's going to be kill Shay, make plays, because if you do not take down Shay, you're really making yourself a liability to really peek him aggressively. You can see Nixie going up against Shay in this little 1v1. If he can spot him out, he actually does get the headshot once again, and so there you go. The Delman's already climbing for it. You can see the aggression coming out. Michael is being very aggressive onto the level 1 sentry gun. The cart is working its way forward, and this is where you can see not having a soldier to play down in the tunnel area is working against them. They have no cart pressure right now, as they're backing up to make a passive playstyle here for Prevail.
Yeah, absolutely right. Once Shay goes down, Space Force is in. They're on this cart. They're pushing across hill. And it looks like Prevail knows that too. The moment their sniper goes down, they're pulling all back. Now just sitting here on this platform. Shay's up again playing on the side of tracks, but it looks like none of them want to really contest this. Uber comes out, and Prevail coming in. Caleb pulling that Uber in, and just looks like not too much has gone back. The blue team was able to milk this Uber, and Nick comes in, takes that sentry down, and they're ready to stuff this red team over on House. And I don't think Prevail's going to be able to hold on to this, but Shay gets a nice pick off on a Nixie. Looks like red team will have that sniper advantage for a little coming back. So, but look at a little aggression coming in, just getting some cart time over here. Yeah, just kill sniper, push cart. Looks like that's their game plan.
Yeah, it was a nice job. The Uber charge out of Prevail was a little bit questionable. They need to get more aggressive with it. We saw the medic; he was actually going down to half HP. Silo Hunter was. But then he ultimately was able to get back. We got actually Engineer Frontier Justice going in onto the combo with the spy, but no, Tacos was not able to get anything, and Michael on Engineer was not able to anything to find himself with. So you can see here about a 30% advantage for the defense, but I don't think that's really going to make too much of a difference. You shouldn't see them playing this aggressively. The big thing is just trying to get this cart forward for free as possible again, and this is where the soldier can be pretty powerful, but not running a heavy on defense now. They opted to get the soldier. I think a heavy is probably, better than even potentially a scout here. I don't know. I'm just not so keen, but there you go. Nice job. Tacos gets a big stab now onto Gong, so no demo man here for another, 16 seconds for the defense.
Yeah, without having a demo to lock down that choke, looks like Space Force is going to have a fun time just pushing that cart, maybe come right into this push, but, they will still have to contend with this Pyro stuffing them back. Shay getting a nice kill on a Michael again, slowing down that cart push, but these Ubers coming out now. Kalo just focusing on his scout, trying to get this cart pushers off, but
the medic
looking, no, he managed to survive. He's dropped down to under, but now he's been picked off by TK. So without heals on either side, though, both meds gone down, and it looks like Prevail's actually gotten the upper hand of this, because all they needed to do was just looks like they just got on cart, kited the rest of the push, even though they were not holding on top of the defense in-house. They were actually able to kill the cart and just pull back, kite the rest of that Uber, and with their demo coming back up on the side of Prevail, they just cleaned the rest of that Uber post.
Oh no, and the cart's, look at this, cart's going to roll back down the hill. The scout's going to try to get there. It's going to already start to do it, and he actually jumps off of it. And so that's going to make the cart actually, they're going to get it back up the hill, though they're going to lose the engineer in the process. Here comes Tacos trying to make a play, but he easily gets found out by the Pyro there, making a play alone. But with the Dead Ringer, he's going to be able to get away. Sniper on the cart path now. As we can see, they're going to clear out the cart path, taking down Nixie. And the banner coming up for the defensive side is going to make them hold it on to that much longer, but the Uber advantage is in the favor of the offense. The question is, do they know it, and are they going to push off of it? With 92% coming up here, they need to use this advantage right now if they're going to use it at all.
Looks like they do know what's going to happen, because here they are edging their cart up with Fuzzy just sitting on that cart, getting as much time as he can, but he gets spammed off. But here this Uber comes in, looking like they want to press this advantage, but it's not. They lost time on it. Red team just going to have their Uber to come right back in. Not quite yet. Kalo just holding on to that. Looks like they don't even use it. A full Uber advantage now on this push. Looks like they'll be able to hold on to this. So Space Force is going to have to wait another 40 seconds to build that Uber up, while Prevail just sits very pretty with their full Uber advantage. Did not even get anything on that Uber.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they have the Uber advantage there, but the downside is the cart's now so close because they didn't use the Uber to try to defend the cart. And so, like, they might actually be able to force the Uber off, potentially, if they can get some capture time on the cart. I mean, that's really the thing for Space Force right now, is just keep that cart forward. Because right now, look at Prevail. They're not even playing anybody on it. They're allowing that cart to be moving forward. If Tacos was not a dead ringer, he actually might be able to just spy cap this. As it looks like another banner is going to be coming out for the defense here, and they're going to start to get aggressive off that. Look at that, 6 players just walking
Silo goes down. There's no heals on side of Space Force, so I think this is something could have done a long time ago, but better late than never. As oh no, Kalo goes down, Taco dropping that Uber, and Fuzzy's capping this. Third captured with 6 minutes in. Looks like even with that full Uber ad, you're absolutely right. They just could not hold on to that cart the way they should have, and so now looking like they're still putting some pressure here on third, but they're going to have to back out to fourth eventually. Now Mad looking like he's wanting to set up another gun here in Tiles, while Kalo's just respawning. They're actually bringing their combo up to Tiles, finally setting up their fourth defense. Just, yeah, without that, even with that Uber ad, they were just not playing properly, not playing close to the cart, not denying that pressure, and when they finally decided to get aggressive, just a little too late.
I think the Uber ad in that situation is less important than the objective, and that kind of showed why right there. And so here we come into the final point, 6 minutes and 17 seconds. A very solid time, not fast, not slow, pretty average. But I think for Space Force, that's average in this matchup is going to be looking good for them, as it looks like they're trying to work most of their people on the front side of the staircase, as the defense is holding pretty firmly in Tiles. They have 5 players currently up there with Sandblast running around on the lower side, and Engineer building up his gun on the balcony. And so it'll be interesting to see how Space Force wants to attack this, as they do have Uber Charge ready to go.
What I'm surprised by is that they're putting pressure over here in Spiral up on this little staircase. It looks like they're not wanting to take this Uber through under, as is a little more traditional from a Highlander perspective, but neither team looking like they... Oh, a little more spam being traded over in Spiral now. Looks like maybe Nick's a little hesitant about that, but... Oh, the Uber finally getting forced out. Nick and Silo taking this in through Spiral, but this Uber's getting milked on the side of Prevail, and they finally pop it, looking like a superior trade for Prevail. They dropped absolutely no one. Their Pyro going down on the side of Space Force, and absolutely no ground taken from Space Force. So just an upsetting Uber trade, and they drop 2 more players on top of that. Spy goes down, and Demo goes down. Oh, just swing and a miss.
The Engineer's going to try to make a play onto the medic, but no, actually they're going to turn around in time to be able to spot that as well inside of Tiles. The cart's rolling outside of the lower area, outside of main, so that's just going to make it that much harder. That was a really nice job, though, to Prevail during that last Uber exchange. That medic milks that Uber as long as he possibly could, because that Demo Man was down below 50 HP. If that Pyro got a flare off, it would have been able to do something. But Shay goes down from Tacos, and so that should at least open up a little bit. They need to take down this Sentry Gun, though, to be able to get... I think that's really the big thing they need. But here comes in the Soldier into the upper area, gets onto the Dumb Man, takes him down, and now the medic goes down to half HP, but is able to grab a med pack to keep himself alive. They're aggressing inside of Tiles and trying to just work their way on those back stairs, and they might be able to do it.
And while this is going on, there's getting...
Tacos! Double! 2 frags!
2 big frags, and while this is going on, there's huge cap time been had by Michael and Nixie, and Space Force now has control of the upper area, so they're looking like a very good position over here. But unfortunately, Silo Hunter going down to a nice shot from Shay, as BM attempts to hold as much ground as he can on Tiles, and Sandblast is trying to pressure this main so they don't get any cap time. And looking like with some respawns, Prevail's going to be able to re-execute a solid hold over here, but will they be able to retake that high ground? Only time will tell, as Kalo's not building any Uber as his Demo's leaving him. Shay, thankfully, retaking that sniper presence over in crates.
It looks like we're coming into our first pause as well here.
Fire into defense. Oh, the pause is coming back out. And yeah, just that Soldier's going to be able to take a lot of ground. So we're back again, and just looks like with blue team having been freshly cleared out of Tiles, they're looking to retake the Spiral area, looking to re-exert their presence in upper, but unfortunately, you know, without that prior presence, without that Uber charge, they're just going to be sitting around waiting to build that up. But red team, Prevail's just got that set up all the way up already, and Demo, Pyro on the side of Prevail, just sticking this spiral out, preventing Space Force from really getting any pressure, so they rotate under, but just no pressure coming out either.
But here comes in the Pyro upwards. He does take down one, and actually it's a trade 2 for 2. Actually, let me... Wow, Sandblast just actually went off and got a couple frags there as well. So actually it's going to slow them down. They do have Uber advantage. They're pushing into this upper area. They want to go in, and here we go. They're going to use the Uber charge onto the enemy medic, putting them down to half HP. They're going to try to take down the Telly, but the Heavy is actually blasting back. The Telly does go down, as Uber is going to be better for the defensive side. The Heavy's trying to go down as a Scout is actually going to be coming out. It was Tacos who switched off the Spy onto Scout. We'll see what that's going to be able to do is these WM1s into the enemy Heavy, but no, that's going to be Rain coming down with a nice 2K, taking down the Demo as well. The Pyro's going to go for a flank play on the medic, misses the flare, chasing him all the way down. The medic going down to 40 HP, burning, but he's going to be able to grab a sandwich, get back up as the card is slowly moving forward. But I mean, I understand why they don't want to go for a Scout, but I think you need, if you're going to run a, like, you need to take down that sentry gun. Like, the soldier needs to go direct hit. Like, something needs to happen here in order for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'd like to see more coordination if they're finally taking that Spy off and moving that Spy onto Heavy. I'm not sure I like that because, you know, it'd be really useful if they just managed to bring a Spy over up to this Bats area and coordinate with the soldier, get a sap off, get a bomb in, so that you just have that entire cart area open for your team to be able to play in. But with this NG, with Matt just sitting over here, exerting control over the entire tracks area with that gun, it seems like Space Force just have their options severely limited, and so Prevail is just able to run around and do whatever they like, and, you know, it really just forces Space Force to walk in and try to fight that Heavy, who's just a living tank, just shredding everything that tries to walk into him. And so that's why you see just Rain demolishing everything that comes into his crosshairs.
And you can see BM, he's actually going on, currently on Flog Pyro, and he's using the Flog, runs in the enemy team, does take down 2. And so that's going to slow them down just that much more, but they were only on, only took down the Pyro as well as the Engineer, so the key classes are still alive. Kritzkrieg, though, now for the offense, so it looks like they're going to just try to take a surprise play. The Heavy running in on the back stairs, he's going to go down. Sentry Gun will get taken out between the Soldier as well as the Sniper on the cart. And so the Heavy's going to try to get some damage down onto them. Here we go. The Kritzkrieg should come out. They're going in onto the Heavy. Who else are they going to be able to get with this? They haven't popped it. Actually, they did pop it. They're going onto the Pyro, but the Overcharge is able to defend it. The Medic will go down as well. And so the defense is coming up as they're trying to chase down those frags. The Mini Sentry go down inside of main, and the Engineer for the defense is getting dispensers back up. Shay goes down. That's a good pick, but they need more than that if they're going to be able to do it. And here we go. Flog play coming out from BM.
BM coming in, destroying that Sniper. Almost, destroying another 3 players. BM absolutely shredding Space Force. They're taking a hard hit from that one. So Taco's looking to recover and just make do with what he can, trying to come in and get that sentry, but he just gets spammed out by Mad and by Gong, looking like they're just not going to be able to, they're going to be feeling that one for a few weeks. Finally, their heals coming back up. They're still on that Kritzkrieg, looking to brute force their way through this push with as much damage as possible, but Gong still, Gong finally going down after holding his own underneath tiles for as long as possible. But finally, Space Force actually getting some ground on this cart area. There's no gun on balcony any longer. Now Michael just sitting on that cart. Mad coming in for the stab, getting Michael. But now that cart's been pushed up to that little incline, so Prevail's gonna have to be a lot more careful about where that cart goes. And they're gonna have to look at it. Fuzzy going down as he tries to make his way to that cart. So this defense finally being reset, but that cart's finally made it up to that crucial last area.
Well, the big thing here for Space Force is that this is why the teleporter being down is so important, is Prevail is not able to reset back up. Now every trade goes in the favor of Space Force because they have control of tires. They can work from there. It's forcing the enemy team to have to work from the lower main area, which is generally a weak area. The Engineer's going to run on the cart to get a reset as the Medic gets disconnected from his team on 100% Kritzkrieg here. So the question is, are they going to be able to use this? Are they going to drop down and use this? BM is harassing the enemy soldier as he goes down pretty low. But I don't know. I would go for laser beams if I was Space Force. Pyro BM, he's gonna make the play onto the Dillman. The crits is gonna come out, and he's actually gonna go onto the medic. The crits is being completely wasted because BM caught them off guard, and they're not gonna get anything with that. Shay does go down. The banner comes up, but oh no, Nixie headshot onto Kalo. Will they be able to use that to push this cart forward? They're gonna take down one more of the soldier, maybe. They're trying, but the Demo Man comes from behind. He's gonna get the kill on the medic. Possibly. The respawn's coming up, but what can Space Force do?
Finally, their players only a few respawns coming up, and with Rain just eating that sandwich underneath, it looks like they might be able to reassert just a modicum of control over here. But with that Demo Man getting on this cart, and with a beast of a heavy, oh no, as I say, that Taco's getting cleaned up, but Fuzzy edging that cart just over. Look, is anything gonna stop him? That's Mad just coming in, finally cleaning up Fuzzy, and right as their cart right on that edge, almost about to go over and secure them this round, but Space Force just not being able to close that deal. Unfortunately, they just did not clean that heavy up as he was sitting underneath that cart. He ate a sandwich, he re-peeked that, and they just shredded the enemy heavy, shredded that Demo as they tried to get that cart, and even Fuzzy trying to exert as much control over it's just not coming in. And even though Prevail's not getting this cart, not getting that tiles presence now, looks like they don't need it. Space Force running around in disarray, all of them jumping in one by one, not getting a coherent push together.
43 seconds left on clock. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Space Force here. The big thing that happened is that during the failed push before is they just didn't clean up players behind them. You know, they really just needed to focus down on the Pyro with the Demo Man who are getting behind them making plays. If they actually did that and then focused the people in front of them, they would have easily captured that cart, but it was just enough of a distraction. Now they have that heavy in that lower area. The Spy, Mad Ringman, he's going to come in trying to make a play onto the cart, or the Demo Man, he can't decide. His Ubercharge will come out for the defense. What are they going to be able to do? The Pyro's doing a good job blasting it back. Not damage. Nothing's really coming from it. But 12 seconds left here. It's last-ditch effort for Space Force.
9 seconds, 8 seconds coming in as their respawn's just coming in now. Nick desperately attempting to jump out of the window, see what he can get done on cart. An Uber comes through, but without anyone else on the cart, even with that Uber, they're not going to get any pushing. And the cart's already gone back as Nick and Silo just both getting cleaned up. Round finally going over. Only 3 points captured for Space Force in 6 minutes, 17 seconds respectable if you're looking at that, just those 3 points in isolation. But without that fourth, they're going to have some trouble on this defense.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, Space Force doesn't let this get into their head too much. You know, it's always frustrating not to complete a capture. I mean, even if it's a terrible time, just to complete it is an important, just mental block to kind of get over. And I think Space Force, you know, hopefully they can use the halftime and the downtime to talk about their last pushes and what they need to do with it, because ultimately they just really need to coordinate it a little bit more. It kind of seemed like they're just doing too many players trying to be Superman, trying to make individual plays, trying to be the person, but when you try to do it alone, either you're going to be a hero or you're going to be a lemming, and they just kept being lemmings over and over again, dying one by one. Nobody really did anything. If they just had a little 7-person push consistently over and over again, you're going to beat out the defense eventually. It's due to the way the respawns work, due to the way trading frags works, it's just going to work out in your favor. And so hopefully Space Force can do that. But that's in the past. In the future now, it's going to be Prevail on offense, trying to beat. So they have 2 ways they can win. If they can capture 3 points before 6 minutes and 17 seconds, they win. Else, they just need to capture all 4 points. What can they do here as the gates go down and they start out on offense?
Right, and we can see this class setup, no scout being run on the side of Space Force as they're defending. Looking like they want to run some slightly different strats than Prevail did on their defense, but looking like Prevail getting hyper-aggressive on this push. Shay walking out with no fear, not even looking to take that SVS onto Nixie, just walks right onto that flank, getting presence over this part as Silos looks like he was forced a little. I didn't catch that, but now just full Uber ad on the side of Prevail, looking like they're just happy to come in anytime soon. Shay still just very, very comfortable next to this cart, not getting contested at all, as Gong brings out Kalo, and they're looking to get a free push onto this first point. Uber finally looking like it's about to come out, but they're milking this as long as they can. This Gong just peeking this slowly, and finally this Uber comes out.
Look at the Spy right now. Look at the Spy. He's in great position. He's going to get one. He's not going to be able to get anything else, though. They will try to get away with the gun. The engineer takes one, I think that was a pipe or something close to it, but he's able to survive despite being marked to death there. The force came off earlier. That was BM running in on the lower side, which is an underrated play. As Settle Hunter got taken down, the level 3's up, but yeah, with the Spy coming in there's no way this gun's going to be able to be kept alive, and I'm guessing Prevail's going to come all the way through. They're going to grab the gun, but BM's going to be looking to make a drop-down play here from the second window, and he's not going to be able to get it, but the gun will go down, and Prevail is just going to force them to step back inside of their spawn now as they're surrounding them.
Yeah, and looks like Space Force is not going to have much of a second presence either, as they're dropping tacos without that heavy, just no meat sponge to be able to sit there and shred people as they come into their sights. But Nixie edging his way over those tracks, he's getting his sights on that medic. He misses the shot as Gong finally spots him and lobbing some pipes over to make sure he does not peek that again. But Nixie hits that nice shot on Sandblast. You need to respect those Cypher sidelines or they will crush you. But unfortunately, even with that good kill, Oh, Gong going down. Nixie showing off that he can bring out those chops if he needs to. Looking like Nixie's still, oh, so aggressive, holding in that house. Gets off that sniper kill, buying his team just that extra little bit of time as they don't want to give up this house and sit on that third point. They have to hold on to the circle for 4 minutes if they have any hope of winning this game. So, you know, Nixie deciding to capitalize on that. He's going to go for something crazy. He's going to see what he can get to delay this push a little more as Sandblast Ubering in now, looking like they decided to take this Uber in the house, but Gong and Sandblast both disconnected from this push, and Silo's just, oh no, Kalo's disconnected. He's being
Kalo's
chased
gonna go down.
by, TK finally getting that Kalo pick. So Kalo's just, fortunately not a great Uber coming out, and Silo's gonna be able to be very happy here sitting with another Uber ad, and looks like, I'm surprised, Space Force does not want to let go of this house. They're not backing up.
Is that with Prolander, there's a lot of different unique holds that you can do that you would not be viable on Highlander due to the number of players. And this is something that we see Tech do, is we'll just get really aggressive holds because why not? And ultimately, it seems like it's working out so far for them. But yeah, how long are they going to be able to hold on to this? Looks like the entire combo for Prevail, they're just going complete cart path, and now they're surrounding them. Now is going to be a question of can Space Force be able to push out from the Sandblast going down incredibly low, down to a sliver of health. He's still holding on. He's actually going to get the frag against Fuzzy, and he's going to be able to get back to Cart. The Heavy's going to drop down, try to get some damage onto Cart, but he's ultimately going to go down. So many players low for Prevail, but they're just not focusing down the damage, and so they're probably not going to get killed. So here comes the Uberchurch. Oh, nice job. They're going to take down the medic as well as Demo. Sandblast is going to get pushed back. The Pyro's going to get pushed onto Card here, but the Soldier is going to try to make a play onto the enemy combo as he gets pushed off the cliff. The Spy, though, Mad Rigme, he's in position. He's waiting to go in to make a play, but Space Force opting to go back to a traditional spot now as they're holding on to this decently so far. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on here, and that's very doable for this third point.
Definitely. I was clutching my pearls watching them hold that, because as they were using that Uber and taking that fight in that forward house, Prevail was just getting so much cap time right behind them as they were taking fights. Prevail just sneaked by. Sandblast getting on that cart, just so much cap time now. It's up on that coaster, and even though Space Force is now in a better position to deal with that cart, it seems like they got a little punish for it. Sure, and the only reason they even managed to hold on to that was because TK managed to get a miracle kill onto Kalo and onto some of their combo members as they forced their Uber out. So I thought that could have gone so much worse, but TK clutching it in when his team needed it and being able to pull them back for a decent hold here, and Gong going down inside of Prevail as Taco's just sitting on that elbow, finally getting cleaned up, but it looks like without the demo, Prevail's gonna have to back up and wait for their response before they can take this push, but
look at the cart.
Sandblast getting so much time on this cart. They're not contesting him at all. Spam finally coming down onto this cart. Sandblast retreating and being able to pull it back, but Sandblast just pushed it up one more incline, just taking advantage of that distraction that was going on the side of Choke, and that cart ever so much closer now. Space Force got to be feeling it, feeling the pressure, but, you know, it's 1 minute on 30, even with the cart right there. This is definitely doable.
Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit harder when you lose your sniper. Nice pick there by Mad Rigme. TK, though, currently the Pyro on a 9K, a Pyro on a 9K. When's the last time that you heard that? And so he's actually going to spot this Heavy. The Heavy actually go down incredibly low. Here comes the Ubercharge. He was distracted, and so you're going to see the defensive Ubercharge in response. But are they going to be able to get anything with this? BM is the only one down right now. No real frags are coming out on either side. The Heavy should go down inside of the Sea House, and he ultimately does. The Engineer is getting down pretty low as Sandblast chases him out. The Spy is looking to make a play inside of Z, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it, or is he going to be spotted? The cart is rolling up that second point once again as Mad Ringman goes down. TK now in 11K as the Soldier's trying to defend against this, but with Gong being down, or sorry, Nick being down, that's just going to make it that much harder. And look at Spam, the Pyro is going to try to contest this card against Sandblast. He needs to do it. You cannot give up this third hill. It looks like Space Force is doing a good job defending against this, and this is exactly where we saw Prevail go wrong. They did not fight hard enough to defend against the cart on that third hill. Space Force doing the opposite. They're throwing everything they can have at the objective to continue to hold on to this point, and they're going to do this. So now, as the few seconds tick down here, Space Force will win if they can defend the final point in the next about like 5 to 6 minutes. I'm assuming a few more minutes are going to be added. It's probably about 8 minutes they need to defend the final 2 points.
Exactly, and without it looks like they're still in a good position on this third too, so that's going to buy them maybe 2 to 3 more minutes depending on how well they hold on to this. But Sandblast now just edging that card a little, just a tiny bit more. Doesn't get too much on as that card rolls back down, but absolutely, you know, and with them not giving up third quite yet either, they're going to be able to hold on to this just that extra bit longer. That will maybe cinch them that bit of time they need to hold on to last. You know, excellent hold on last. It's just that all that high ground you can hold on to, and if they get that teleporter set up like Prevail managed to, maybe they'll be able to get on. But unfortunately, they're dropping so many players on this third defense. Maybe they're not learning. Taco's finally getting that Uber on top of him, but with their Silo getting on that cart right as it touches that point. And they're keeping Tacos on this point, but Sandblast is right under them, looking like he wants to sneak this cap. But Matt finally gets that kill on Tacos. Matt capping that point. Silo is disconnected. Looks like Sandblast is going to chase after him. Just Silo finally getting run down by Sandblast, and just a fatal mistake coming out from Space Force. They committed just a little too hard for that third hold. After they managed to hold third for that 6 minutes and 17 seconds, they should have cut their losses, come back and hold fourth, but now they're going to be punished severely for it without having a combo, without having any tiles hold. It's just looking, thankfully some consolation kills being made onto Gong, so not too much aggression going to be coming out inside of Prevail, but just a little just depressing.
Yeah, it is, and it's unfortunate to see that. It seemed like they got a little bit greedy on the third defense there, to be able to, do that. If they did actually just use the Uber charge to defend the point there, I said they didn't do what Prevail did. They actually tried to defend the objective, but in that last one, as we see, they do get a couple frags here to hold on to this final point, but currently they're holding inside main. They do not have control of tiles. The defense does, but actually they're going to try to go behind the enemy team. They're going to make a play. They do take down
Kalo drops!
Oh, that's huge. But now they're going to lose their medic as well, and so as good as that is, Kalo's going to come up right now, and Silo Hunter's down for another 11 seconds, and so that's going to make it just that much harder. But they do have their combo classes sitting inside of tiles, so it looks like it should be okay, but Mad Ring Me, well, he's doing what Mad Ring Me does, and that's get backstabs. Down goes the Demoman.
And Mad Ring Me now making his Metal Gear Solid mission to come along to this dispenser. He wants that dispenser. This dispenser must die. It is the bane of all spies, and as it goes down, Michael wrapping around to see what he can deal with it. But, as we see a little sojourn over that spy, there's a combo versus combo fight being taken on this balcony. Taco standing on that edge, just getting a little heavy tips, but BM getting so much cart time as they're not able to pressure this pyro off this cart. Gong getting so much spam onto this cart too. Prevail getting so much time, 3 down on the side of Space Force. Prevail just sitting on this cart, looking like there's not going to be too much pressure onto that cart. His Rain just getting tanked hard. He picks up that pack and gets arrowed, but it finally goes down. So just with a lot of luck and a lot of skill, Space Force pushes, finally rebuffs those people sitting on that cart, but they are now down 5 players. Gong sitting on that cart, seemingly uncontested. There is a gun now, but it goes down instantly. Kalo's tanking Gong down, so is this the end? This, unfortunately, just no counter for that final push. So, just off the back of a very promising third hold from Space Force, looked like they might be able to clutch that out, but unfortunately, some unfortunate mistakes as they fail to back off a third and just drop too many players on this force. Prevail clutching this in for this first win.
Yeah, for the first half, they definitely did pretty well there. And I mean, even if you look at the thing that's really interesting is that, I mean, I guess the numbers were, the numbers look really skewed on inside of the logs when we look at them. 154 frags to 106. But the big thing to remember with that is that, the defense had 8 more minutes to play with. I mean, these are really not that bad. I mean, ultimately, I think that the bad offense on the last point, but it's like, if Space Force was able to go into last as effectively as they did the first 3 points, this is their game to win, right? They put themselves in a bad spot that they had to defend last for 8 minutes. They held the third point for, about 7 or 8, and they could have continued to hold the third point if they didn't make the mistake of not popping Uber to defend it. And so this is pretty interesting, but one thing that is interesting is Sandblast is actually the top fragger. I mean, kind of talked about, how good is Scout on defense, how useful is it on defense? And Sandblast kind of making us eat our words here as he did work on defense, coming away with 21 frags on Scout, looks like 11 frags on Soldier, and so he's kind of switching back and forth on that. Seemed to work out well for Prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sandblast, you talk about that carrying potential. Obviously, Shay, not top fragging, but close behind, hitting tons of headshots too. You noticed how Space Force's plan on that offense just kill Shay, and you managed to get a push off. And just looking like with that star power on Prevail's side, they managed to get as much done as possible, just off the backs of those big frags, big kills. Unfortunately, with people who are just a little aggressive, just a little kill hungry, they dropped Kalo several times. Kalo sitting on 4 drops while Silo no drops at all. But who cares about that when you win the game?
Yeah, I'm looking at the damage numbers. You can see that Seer Gong, whatever you want to call him, he is sitting at over 600 DPM, and I don't think that's a mistake from the pause. I know pauses can sometimes mess stuff up, but I still think that's looking pretty good. Nick, though, not doing his own at 564 DPM. And so that's doing a pretty solid job. One thing that's really interesting is Nixie is about toe to toe with Shay, as Nixie had 26 frags to Shay's 29, which actually is really, really good, because Shay, again, had 8 more minutes of defense. And again, defense on upward is much easier to play, generally speaking, than offense. You know, you tend to be able to sit a little bit more comfortably. I guess if your team's winning, it also is a little bit easier. But you know, it's one of those things that you tend to see snipers go off on defense more so than offense. But Nixie actually is 12-7 in the sniper v sniper. So, you know, Nixie killed Shay 12 times to Shay killing Nixie's 7. And so I think that's one of the reasons that Space Force has been able to hold into this. But, you know, it's kind of also shows where they failed, is that Nixie, you know, doing sniping into last is very, very difficult to do. That's maybe a point where maybe Nixie should go spy. You know, maybe Nixie should go on scout. Maybe Nixie should go on heavy, because he wasn't really doing a lot in that final point. Getting snipes off is difficult. Obviously, you want to counter snipe Shay, but Shay was also not doing like a crazy amount of work, you know. And if you have a spy who can get picks, if you can bomb them, if you take down the sentry gun, then you can get on Shay a lot more on that final point. And you can see that was like one of the reasons that you saw out of Prevail, is they actually ran classes to counter the engineer so they could get into last, whereas it felt like Space Force, they never did anything to counter the engineer. It felt like they were always just kind of like, let's just focus the combo, but you really do need to take down that sentry gun to be able to take over last.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right with your observation that it seemed like Space Force leaned in a bit too much on that sniper v sniper. Just, you know, if they'd run a bit more for that engineer, especially because that it's not just the sentry hold that Prevail managed to use to hold last as well. It was the fact that they kept that teleporter up, as you observed a lot earlier in the match. So, you know, if they just brought around a soldier to shoot that down, brought a spy over, Nixie, I like the guy, but unfortunately your sight lines into last are just terrible to be able to get something done. The other things to note as well, actually, TK popping off on that defense for Space Force. He got on that 9 kill streak when he was holding third, and he got that miracle kill onto Kalo as well when they were pulling that third. TK just pulling in big frags as well, 21-17, unusual for a Pyro certainly on upward, especially when you're doing this as aggressively and against snipers as good as Nixie and Shay. So TK just popping off. Kudos to the man for salvaging what could have been a terrible third hold.
I'm kind of curious. TK had 7 frags on offense, and then on defense, he actually, this is an amazing stat line. The Pyro top. So here, I'm going to give you a chance to guess the 2 classes that top fragged in the second half, or second part of that first half there. On the defensive side for Space Force, which 2 classes top fragged inside that round?
I'm going to go with the Scout and the Pyro.
All right, so obviously TK was a given this is where the stat line came from. The Pyro and the Spy were the 2 top fragging classes. Mad Ring Me had 14 frags. Right behind him was Nixie, and then Sandblast, and then Tacos, and Gong filling in behind that. So overall, you know, some of the flex classes definitely stepping it up there, doing a lot of work. I mean, TK again had about I think he had over a 10K on that third point. He was doing a great job of keeping himself alive, air blasting people off the cliff when needed, and all that different stuff. So as it looks like we are waiting on Space Force to get their 7th, it looks like somebody left. So it looks like they're trying to get another person inside of here. We are hoping to get this started up here pretty shortly. But I mean, kind of coming in here, is this kind of a surprise? Is this what you expected coming in here?
I certainly expected Prevail to be, no pun intended, but I expected Prevail to prevail. It's certainly a bit of a surprise that Space Force didn't even manage to cap last, but I'm confident that knowing what they do now after this first round, they'll be able to come back in and maybe come up with some new strats. So on that note, Sigafu, I'd like to ask, what do you think Space Force should do coming into this second round to maybe edge this win and prevail over Prevail?
I mean, I think the big thing here is that they're already doing the first job they need to do, which is shut down Shay. They did that in the first half. That's one of the reasons they got to the point they did. On offense, you know, they just need to be, again, more consistent with their pushing together. You know, Nixie was doing a great job opening up. They need to be able to be aggressive against that. But I think also one of the reasons they had success was Prevail had a bad defense to start out with. And just kind of going back to what we talked about beforehand, it's just, again, it comes down, upward last. It's about pushing together, and then it's about sustaining the push. And what I mean is that a lot of other points, you don't need to sustain your push. Inside of the final points, because the cart doesn't roll backwards. There's not as much time for the defensive players to be able to jump back on the cart. The way that upward allows it to be able to be happening. And so, like getting a heavy who can stand in like above boxes, to be able to take that down, or making sure that you kill the enemy heavy who's sitting below and lower, because that's a really strong spot. Making sure you take down the sentry gun early and consistently and make the engineer's life hell. Like all these little things kind of add up. Even like if they're going to run an engineer, maybe run a run a level 2 outside of main to be able to get that extra damage. Be able to do that. Maybe use the engineer, like make sure that you pincer the engineer. Like you have one part of the team push from the back stairwell, one push into the front stairwell inside of tiles on the last point. It just didn't seem like Space Force was making a lot of plays outside of Nixie. It seems like they're doing good pushes when Nixie got frags, but when Nixie wasn't doing it, they kind of just weren't really knowing it. But this is also the first week. These are new teams. As it looks like we're going to get started up in the second half here. And so that's really what they need to do. That's what I want to see out of them, is I really want to see Space Force have more cohesive offense working together. But with Prevail starting on offense, we're going to see what they can do. They put up probably about I'm guessing a 9-10 minute time, which is not great. So Space Force did their job on defense last time, even though they lost. I'm going to be kind of curious if Space Force is going to be able to do it again on this next half.
Absolutely, and just with the class composition coming out again, we can see that Space Force more or less running the same thing. No scout, no heavy. Looks like Tacos might just be sitting on that to call or maybe just check some things. I'm not certain. I'm not too keen on the no heavy. Just having the heavy sit there on playground and deny people pushing in is it's pretty good, but definitely something. I think they're relying a bit more on this X factor, maybe learning their lesson from that first push and from their first offense, not trying anything, maybe just butting their head against the wall a little too much. So, maybe Taco's trying something a little funny. So as this clock counts down, we're just going to see these pushes coming in. Shay actually looking like he wants to snipe from the far right, but definitely some interesting angles for him to consider.
We'll see how they want to go about this, as looks like Mad Ring Me again on Spy for the offense here, probably. I'm kind of curious if he's going to go for the Sentry Gun early on here or go for the Telly. It looks like he's going up for Playground, so he's getting himself in a position probably to take out Nixie. Here we go, Soldier bombing in. Going for Nixie, doesn't even land Run Rocket. The Pyro's going to do a blast jump up there himself.
Oh, it's a crits push!
It's getting something. It's going to be able to gets the force off, and getting the force off on the medic is going to be able to give them the crits advantage now, as the crit streak does build faster. And so I'm guessing that's what the reasoning behind that. So we'll see how they want to aggress off this. Looks like Mad Ring Me is going to go for the teleporter back at spawn, as Tacos, Nick, and Fuzzy are all coming back to life now.
Absolutely. I like this crits idea. Oh, unfortunately, Kayla going down right is unfortunate. So this crits idea is not going to be happening for a while, but in theory, I definitely enjoy it, as they're pushing up right around this corner, looking to just pressure these red players out as much as possible, so Space Force is going to have to pull back. But definitely with Prevail just running that crits, it's just going to be able to allow them to pressure just that much faster, looking like they decided they don't want to butt heads against a stable defense consistently. They want to take Space Force by surprise, maybe realizing that third push that they butted against repeatedly, pull out all the stops, rely on a little extra fragging power, and maybe enable Shay by taking some of the heat off him by letting that combo shine a bit more too. So definitely an interesting choice. Kalo actually staying on that crits for the rest of this offense, it looks like. Maybe just sitting on this corner looking like they want to lock this platform down, but we're going to have to see how this plays out as Nixie's slowly peeking that corner.
Yeah, I want to see them push aggressively here, Space Force. The cart was inside of tunnel, so that means that you have an advantage. You're going to have a numbers advantage. On the hillside, Gong does go down against Nick in that 1v1. The cart, though, of Sandblast is pushing it pretty far forward here. But now that you have you have to worry about the sniper, obviously, of Shay. He's playing this pretty aggressively. The spy's going to come in. No, Shay heard it, is able to turn around just in time to be able to see that his BM's going to also help him out, and so that's going to allow Shay to be able to snipe that much more. Nixie's going to go for it. He does get the snipe onto this, and so after this Uber exchange, I'm going to want to see Space Force get aggressive here. As it's going to be, the Crits Creek comes out. Yes, of course it is. It's still Crits Creek.
Yeah, Gong trying to trade this now, looking to hit some crit stickers against the shiny people, but even so, even though he's not getting any damage, it's just enough to push them off and get them to pull back, because Sandblast coming in that crits actually killed off the Pyro, TK going down early in that, so there's just no way for them to really control that crits. Even if they are able to kill them, they just weren't able to hit the shots on them, so Kalo and company just pulling back, kiting that Uber, even being able to pull back and yeah, just get that cart time now. Rain sitting on that cart with Sandblast as they get this scout offense coming in. BM and Nix and Shay just taking this catwalk control. Fuzzy looking very upset as he's ticking down on this fire, not able to exert as much cat control as he's hoping to. Maybe Bagong coming in, getting blown up by Fuzzy. Unfortunately, that push looks like it's been shut down a little bit, but that cart ticks forward.
Yeah, and they're continuing to get it up the hill. Really nice job there, focusing that down. The soldier's going to finally come in, but yeah, he's going to get a lot of damage jumping into that heavy, though. The heavy's going to go down pretty low. Rain's going to go down to grab that med pack, but he accomplished the job that he wanted to as he's going to come from Sea House. Here comes out the crit streak. It's going to go onto the enemy team, but yeah, Scout into Sentry Gun with crits, probably not a good idea. They learned that pretty quickly, and that crits is not really going to get anything here, as Fuzzy's the only one who's dead right now, and that was from beforehand. But Shay will get a nice snipe onto Nick, so no Delman here for the defense. The heavy's going to go down as well for Prevails, but it doesn't look like Prevail's going to really get any ground off of that pick of Nick. And so Sandblast is going to get on the cart, but I don't think he's going to be able to get this with the soldier looking him down.
Yeah, and I don't think they're using this crits building faster quite as much either, because Silo's still keeping pace with Kalo on that building, even despite the extra build rate on crits. So Kalo, you know, Prevail maybe not rotating their heals correctly. Even though they have that cart sitting right there, they could maybe come back in for another crits push with that ad, but finally getting a little, about a 20% ad. They're finally playing a little closer with this 95% crits, looking like they want to come right back in on this. As we watch Gong getting in right in here. Maybe they want a laser beams on that. Heavy laser beams coming out just for a split second, but Gong gets pushed back by that sentry, and they're down, 2 down, 3 down on the side of Prevail. This crits, unfortunately, not being able to press that advantage, as Kayla's going to have to pull back, and unfortunately just didn't even pop that Uber on the side of Space Force, so just a little bit of a sad push there.
Yeah, Nick's also stepping up big. He's on a 3K right now, but the most important part is he killed the cart pushers, and so that slowed it down that much more. Here goes, oh, BM is pushing the cart. He's going to run into the soldier, who's going to blast him back. Sandblast also coming in there. I think also one of the things is I would love to see Fuzzy switch to the black box. One of the issues is he's going down so low in life so early in these fights. And if he had just a little bit more, as that, oh my god, Sandblast walking away with 2 HP as he's able to win that fight. The cart, though, still sitting at the base of that tower, Fuzzy down for 15 seconds. But here we go. A lot of focus on the cart path now as BM's going to drop down as well. But they have 3 players on Roller Coaster, make that just 2 now as Sandblast goes down. But it's going to be the Devilman pushing forward. He gets blasted back. Ubercharge does come out to defend the cart. Sentry Gun is going to be able to kept alive, though Michael is down for another 7. So any more damage on that Sentry Gun, and it will die.
And still, Kalo's still not pressing that crits advantage with his team either. Looks like, I'm not sure what Prevail's thinking they're trying to do. They're not playing with their medic. They're not getting this crits up when they could. They did force that Uber on the side of Space Force a little earlier too, so they're going to have to be able to
down though,
in.
Mad Ring Me.
Absolutely. Oh, now big pick coming off on Taco, so no heavy. They're just going to be able, looks like they're just going to be able to take control of this 3rd point here, but there's no cap time, no cart presence. Heavy finally waltzing his way over to that cart, sits on it, and Sandblast coming over too, so finally getting that ×3, Fable ×3, as Mad takes a showdown with Nixie on last. Nixie getting pressured out, looking like they're not going to be able to exert any tiles presence either. So yeah, with that full crits too, it's going to be a fun push hopefully coming forward. Gong waiting for Kalo.
This is going to be dangerous because if they play in lower main, the crits is going to absolutely just, I guess wherever they play them, it's very tight corridors, and so we'll see what they want to do. The medic is got that crits ready up in tiles. This is where Space Force struggled last time, is that they were not able to get tiles control, but look at the heavy actually for Space Force. He's going for a flank play.
Fuzzy flanks and drops Kalo before they manage to get used to this crit, so Silo will be able to come back on this Uber advantage.
And they also are just getting the frags as well. This heavy's going to make a flank play as well, takes down Sandblast. And it's just a sniper left in the upper area. BM is going to run into the Delman in the lower. He's actually going to find out the medic. Oh my goodness, what a pipe from Nick there. He needed to land that perfectly onto BM, else his medic was going to go down. They're going to lose their Uber advantage as well as control of tiles there, more than likely. And so now with that big play out of Nick here, they're going to control this upper area, and we'll see how Space Force can control this final point for the first time in the game.
Absolutely, and you know, not a terrible time for that first 3 points either. It's Gong taking a fight, killing Nick and Silos single-handedly. He's finally being chased out by TK, but he got what he needed to, killing out that demo and that medic, and now Sandblast having just a little bit of tiles control that they need. Unfortunately now, will we be able to see Prevail come over and get some pressure on this engineer setup as Sandblast getting in on that cart, getting cart time, but Fuzzy that up now. And yeah, combo finally coming back in from the side of Prevail as they look to re-exert this tiles control.
And one thing that I want to say is that Nick wouldn't have happened if that sentry gun was on balcony area, because it would have done so much damage to him early on. Nixie does take down Rain, though he dies from a backstab of Mad Ring, and he also takes down the gun. The Doman's going to walk in onto the enemy combo and gets the medic down to half HP, but he is not popping. He's holding on. He's able to grab a med pack, get himself back up here. Here comes in the heavy. As they only have 46%, they will take down Shay as the crit streak's ready to go, but is it going to be used? Oh no, they dropped the Doman. The medic's going to use it, but he's going to be so incredibly low. He's going to run into the pyro surely and die as he's running for his life. Finally will go down. He's chasing for it, and now it's going to be a heavy fight, but when you have a medic on your side, you're going to be the one coming up with it. And I think this experiment on Crits Creek, while cute and can be good, is seeming to run into a little bit of a wall here, as Sandblast does get the frag onto the Delman, so that's going to give them a little bit more chance to try to pressure tiles here, as it looks like Gong is getting some presence on that back stairs.
And that crits was working out pretty well for them for the first and second points, but it looks like as they come into this, they're getting a lot of tiles presence, but when it comes to taking this crits out onto that open space on tracks, they're just not able to secure those kills. There's just too much ground to cover with that crits, and so without being able to lynch them in on these tiny areas, they're just not getting the kills they need. And now Red Team, Space Force are getting cleaned up in tiles, but TK is coming back to get that kill on Rain as Rain cleans up Fuzzy, so it looks like Space Force just barely holding on to that tiles, and Silo sitting pretty up in there, but not building that Uber as Kalo back on Uber, and with the full 50% advantage, looking like they're ready to maybe take another push. Gong actually pressuring through main. He wants that sentry down.
Yeah, they do, but they're not going to be able to get it. The spy comes in for the sap. It's a little bit late. The gun's going to be able to be kept alive as Sandblast pushes that cart forward right at that bottom. If he's going to trade his life for that, but might not be the worst thing in the world. The Ubercharge is going to come out, but it's with a pyro as well as a soldier, and I am not sure what they're going to get with this. They wanted to catch the medic. They did have Uber advantage, but it just is not going to be enough. Nick is going to go down again. Nick has died 3 or 4 times straight just trying to get in tiles. He is just every single life. He's lived for about 10 to 15 seconds and gone down. TK will get a frag onto BM. TK on an 8K. Just so insane what he's been able to do on the Pyro class on defense this game.
Absolutely. TK knowing how to play those corners, how to play those tight choke points, and just deny pushes where he needs to. And with Nick unable to get back up into this tiles area, it looks like Gong doesn't even need to worry about tiles, doesn't need to exert control. If they're not getting their demo man up in tiles, Space Force just doesn't seem to really want that too much. So, five going down inside of Space Force, and Silo Ubering on cart, trying to delay this as much as possible, relying as much as he can on that sentry, but Mad comes in, saps that gun, Mike getting his gun down, Silo going down, and BM just sitting on that cart without too much denial. Sandblast getting on it too, looking like a cap here, no denial, and that's a 10-minute time offense. Not the fastest, but certainly consistent and reliable.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a chance to hold on to this. Prevail to be able to put up a defense to be able to do that, but this is exactly what Space Force wanted. I mean, I think if you came into the game and you asked Space Force, what do you think Prevail's going to do in terms of time? If you asked me what I thought Prevail was going to do in terms of time against Space Force, I'd say, probably about 7-minute time. I mean, Prolander does tend to be a little bit faster. Both of these teams have fantastic lineups, but, I know Prevail a little bit more, and I figure they'd be the ones pushing through, but I've been really, really impressed so far with Space Force. It was funny because I was talking to Takas before the game, and I don't know, he wasn't giving me the most confidence in the world, but his team, I think, is giving it to him now, and so the question is, what can they do on offense? They struggled for the final point push last game. So are they going to be able to correct that? They looked great besides that. So what Space Force are we going to see? Are we going to see points 1 through 3? Or are we going to see point 4 coming out here? The gates are going to come down here in a few seconds. Let's look at the class composition real quick on the defensive side. They are going to run a soldier this time where they didn't last time. So no heavy. And it looks like no heavy, no spy for the starting out defense of Prevail.
As these gates open up, we can see that spy coming out making his way. Taco's looking to see if he can get some picks off. Just feigning his way back here, going a little forward, trying to exert this control, but so much aggression already coming out of Space Force, already exerting control over stairs here. Nixie looking to get that sightline down, but he gets picked off by Shay. So I'm hoping that Space Force don't just play entirely around Shay's deaths or kills. I'm hoping that they can get a little more pressure, a little more picks off, without worrying about Shay just get all this kills, but unfortunately it looks like they fear a little too much Shay gets that kill, and Gong cleans up TK on that front too.
And I also want to point out the sentry gun is currently at spawn, and the teleporter just went down. So I guess he's going to be able to rebuild this back up, and Mad Ring Me doesn't have an exit to be able to take his gun out too. And so there's no sentry gun. The engineer is basically useless now. It's a 6v6 fight, as the Pyro's going to be going back to be able to deal with this, and they're going to have to give up this first point almost surely from the plays of the engineer, the mistakes doing this. Sandblast is going to run through. He's going to get a couple frags here. Oh my goodness, actually they're going to be cleaning up. And I thought they were going to be able to do this with the numbers advantage, but the DM is just so much stronger in the favor of Prevail in that fight.
They look like they just know how to play those Ubers and post-Ubers better, too. You see these players rotating in and out, taking these flashes when they need to, and if they don't have to, they're not going to necessarily walk into the shiny people, because as we know, you just can't hurt them. So why bother? So having that experience on hand to know to back in and out, duck and weave, serving them really well, as Gong taking huge trades on stairs, looking like he's completely fearless. And Taco's coming in the back line, Metal Gear Solid time as he walks in, looking to see what he can get, but it's just no opportunities presenting themselves. So just a little more back and forth between these two teams.
And oh my gosh, I just gotta say, BM is thirsty for that spy kill. He is chasing him back to second constantly, and that's making Tacos not be able to do anything here. But they're going to try to use that no pyro at the front line to be able to get forward ground. They're trying to focus down anything right now, but it's not really getting too much damage. And the sentry gun is still being kept alive. Very passive position, but that just means it's going to be that much harder for a demo to do. The overcharge is going to come off here, and the medi for the offense is only at 95%, 96. Sandblast chasing him down. Can he get it? Oh my goodness, what a bad play. Or I'm sorry, what a just disaster there for the offense. Silo Hunter at 96% right before he died. And you're going to see the spy Taco. He's going to try to make a play now, but BM is still on top of him, constantly seeing this. And I feel like Taco needs to get off spy because BM has his number right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He maybe held on to that spy just a little too much, hoping for a little more than he could have actually accomplished. And just without that extra presence that you could have if you weren't playing spy, looks like Prevail just had that confidence to walk forward and shred Silo before he got that Uber. And now they come in, even after taking their own Uber, and they still have a very pretty 40% ad. And this cart isn't even nearly close enough for them to be able to take this first, as they still have so much presence over this first point. Matt actually still keeping that telly up now. Yeah, Taco's coming back up on this heavy, getting as much fragging power as possible. Looks like, oh, Nick going down, but it looks like Space Force have had enough. They're not playing any more games. They're just coming out full force. Let's see what we can kill. But, still getting cleaned up. No luck.
Yeah, Silent Hunter is going to die again. 80% this time, so not too bad. But I just want to point out Rain currently in a 5K. Rain was not playing Soldier for a good portion of that final point. Rain is, in my opinion, one of the best Highlander soldiers out there. He really understands how to play defense. And it kind of goes back to, like, if you're playing defensive Soldier, you almost always want to be running a black box. It's just such a strong thing. It allows you to sustain his life, and that's one of the reasons he's been able to hold aggressively in that high right-hand side. He's got a banner ready to go for his team from all the damage that he's been building up here. And so he might try to use it to get some ground, as they do about a 40% advantage right now in the favor of the defense.
And looking like Space Force just trying to butt their head against this wall again, brute force their way through, but they're not getting the picks they need to. Sandblast going down, but it's just to scout on defense. I mean, as I say that, we know Sandblast put in tons of work, but Taco's bombing in, getting denied by that sentry, and it feels like Space Force are just looking like they're trying to break down this brick wall when they only have a single sledgehammer, but they need to bring a huge wrecking ball, and they don't have that because they're not getting these Ubers built. Silo keeps getting dropped before he can get that Uber up. And what do you think? They're just, yeah.
And we'll see what they can do. They are, looks like Silo will have the, Silo will have a chance to actually use the Uber charge if he doesn't drop too many players in the process, and they're going to lose this sniper early on. Here comes up the Uber charge, but finally they have it in response. Great flashing back and forth on the offense, chasing down. Will they be able to use it to get anything? But with that sentry gun still alive, that's stopping the Pyro from being able to double WM1 into the enemy team. Is Mad Ring is going to be able to grab this. A lot of pressure coming out onto Silent Hunter. He's getting backed up, disconnected from his combo, but he will be able to get back into spawn to be able to keep his life in the 20% Uber he has. Sandblast will go down, but this is the thing, is like right now it's like you need to take control of the far left. You need to take control of the right side for Space Force. If they do this, and then also take control of Shay, they need to like basically stop Rain from being able to be aggressive on that left-hand side. They need to take control of Playground so Shay can't be comfortable. And if they do that, I guarantee they will take this point. But they just haven't been able to take control of Playground, and Rain has been a nuisance on that far right-hand side for most of the game. It just seems like they've just been not been able to pressure this. As 7 seconds left in the clock here, and it looks like Prevail is going to hold on to this first point.
Yeah, and they're walking forward, not even letting this cart get into overtime if they let anyone touch that. But yeah, just, surprisingly just an absolute stomp from Prevail on this defense, not even letting them get this first point, not even as a courtesy. So Prevail just destroying Space Force on the second half of Upward.
Yeah, it's just a really nice job coming out of Prevail there. And I think it just ultimately came down to the class adjustments that they did. And just maybe getting a little bit more comfortable with their aggressive play style. It seems like, in the first half, they did a great job, the wombo combo of Nixie getting a snipe onto Shay, and then Tacos was able to spawn camp him and take down the teleporter and stuff like that. But in that round, I think once the teleporter went down at first, but it never went down again, the Sentry Gun was able to be kept alive. And I think Shay was alive for most of that. I'd be curious to see how many frags he got in that last round as I'm trying to pull up the logs here. But just really, really dominant performance. And it was like Sandblast, though, doing a lot of work there. Again, making us eat our words. I mean, Scout was very, very powerful in that moment. Though I also don't think running Engineer on the first point was the best idea. I think Michael maybe stuck with that a little bit too much. I think Engineer can be useful when you're trying to even out, your respawn advantage and gain more advantage off of that. But on the first point, that's not really a thing, and I don't think the Sentry Guns were really doing a lot ultimately. And I'm just kind of curious here: was 10 kills to 39 kills, only 10 frags. That entire offense from Space Force, they just could not get it together. Great job, though. I mean, again, just real quick, I know I'm kind of going on long here, though. It is Rain using the black box to be able to sustain his life, having the banners as well during the pushes, and then just the Sentry Gun being up, not allowing teams to be able to get aggressive into the enemy combo to force like Ubers and shit like that. Just unfortunate for Space Force.
Absolutely, and just I think there was huge adjustments made definitely from Prevail to their classes and their loadout sets, but I think unfortunately the big clincher, just Space Force could not get it together to coordinate and get a consistent push with their entire team. They just kept walking forward, hoping to out DM Prevail. But when you've got hard hitters like Sandblast, like Shay, over on the side of Prevail, I don't understand how they thought they could keep just butting in. You need if you any player worth their salt should know you if you keep failing, if you're trying something again, what's the definition of insanity? You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect it to work. So unfortunate for Space Force, but they still Nixian, thankfully, putting out a good performance, even maybe not on this last game as he was getting ham-fisted by Shay, but nonetheless still a good performance from Nixie overall for the entire game, actually out keeping up with Shay nonetheless on that
Yeah,
second half.
Yeah, he did a good job there, at least trying to keep up with SVS, but just wasn't enough for his team. And I mean, ultimately, that final thing came down to the medic died. Like nobody was really dying, obviously, on the defensive side, and any chance they had to get the Uber charge off to be able to do that, just wasn't working out for them. Was doing a great job shutting down Tacos for the opening minutes, but really, when you lose your medic, two, three times in a row at like 90%, I mean, it's just a hard thing to recover from to some degree, especially when you're not winning the DM battles on top of that, allowing Sandblast to get so aggressive into your enemy combo. So commiserations to Space Force. They definitely put up a good fight in that first half. Looking forward to what they can do in the rest of the season as they honestly, I think they have many things that they can take away from this fight, despite the lackluster ending in the second half there. I still think they put up a good showing, and I'm definitely looking forward to them coming to the season. As I said, I don't think they're going to be a number one, number two team, but I think they have an outside chance for that number three spot if they really put in the work. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do inside of this season. So any kind of others, I mean, there's not a lot of great things to see in the stats because the game was kind of unbalanced there at the end, but any kind of final thoughts that you have for the game?
Nonetheless, just same thing. I'd say, Space Force, absolutely, my condolences, but you guys put a great performance up on the defense nonetheless. 10 minutes defense is nothing to scoff at, especially against a team with the caliber of Prevail. So keep that chin up and just come back, try to learn from your mistakes. And remember, this is Prolander. You have the opportunity to adjust your strats. We don't need to keep trying the same things over and over. We have the flexibility to do something different, and we should be sure to make sure we try to do that. So, kudos to Prevail. Congratulations.
Good on them. So I guess we'll leave it off there. Thank you so much, Flair, for joining me out here tonight. Any final shouts you want to give to this?
Shout out to my mom. I love her. Thanks, Mom. You got me where I am today.
I got to give some love, guys. Give some love for Dolphin for doing amazing casting work as always in the background, doing what he can. And then, real quick, guys, we're doing a new thing where we're going to be rehosting a person from the winning team. So, guys, stay tuned as Sandblast is currently streaming. going to be gloating after his little victory, I'm sure. Had a great game here today, and so you can go see some more great scout action on his stream as we're going to go raid that. So thank you, everybody, for coming out here tonight. Thank you, Dolphin, for doing some great cam work. Thank you, Flair, for hanging out with me and doing some great casting. And with that, we'll see you next time. And guys, check out Sandblast on his stream.